AITA for telling everyone involved what my best friend's husband did. I kind of feel like a jerk for speaking negatively about my best friend's husband. At the same time, I felt that everyone who went out of their way to come help deserved an explanation as to why they had to endure the extreme 40 weather. Yesterday, I 36F got a frantic call from my best friend 36F. She told me that both she and her husband, 35M, were stuck at the gas station because neither of their cars would start. While this might sound unrealistic to some, we live in a northern state that was experiencing an Arctic blast with temperatures around 40. In that kind of cold, car batteries often fail. My friend explained that her husband had called her to come give him a jump start, but when she arrived and tried to jump his car, her own car suddenly shut off and wouldn't start again either. Naturally, I keep jumper cables in my trunk, so I immediately drove to the gas station to help them. First, I tried jump-starting her husband's car, but nothing worked. Then I tried her car, some result. At this point, I called my husband 40M for backup. He came out with a high-powered battery jumper pack. He tried both vehicles, but neither would start. Now we were completely stumped. My husband then called his brother-in-law, who is a mechanic. His brother-in-law came out as well, bringing some diagnostic tools with him. I'm not familiar with all the technical terms, so pardon my ignorance. After examining the cars, he couldn't find anything mechanically wrong either. After 3 hours of freezing in the brutal weather, everyone was exhausted, cold, and frustrated. Eventually, they all decided to call it quits and leave. I stayed behind and arranged for a tow truck to pick up both vehicles. While waiting for the tow truck, I was also frantically calling every car shop in town to find an opening for at least one of the cars. It was during this moment that my friend's husband casually mentioned that he thought he might have messed up the cars. He admitted that earlier he had poured half a gallon of antifreeze into each of the gas tanks. I was completely stunned into silence. I couldn't believe he had kept this information to himself for 3 hours while we were all out there in the freezing cold trying to solve the problem. I immediately texted this confession to my husband and brother-in-law, who were both extremely upset. They refused to come back out to help after learning what had happened. Thankfully, I eventually found a shop that was still open and agreed to take both cars. Once the vehicles were taken care of, my friend offered to buy me dinner to thank me for helping. At the restaurant, I told her that I had texted my husband and brother-in-law to explain what had happened, including what her husband had done. She became upset, saying that sharing the information made her husband look stupid. Since we had already found a solution, she said I shouldn't have told anyone. She then called her husband, and for at least 15 minutes, I could hear him yelling at her on the phone. She kept trying to calm him down by saying it was okay. Everything would be fine. He didn't need to worry, and that his parents would be back tomorrow to help. Apparently, her husband felt humiliated and emasculated. He was worried that we would all think he was foolish. The thing is, no one had actually said anything directly to him about the situation. I do understand where he's coming from, though. I imagine this situation brought out one of his biggest insecurities, the fear of public judgment and rejection. AITA for telling my husband and brother-in-law what my friend's husband did. Discuss in the comments section below, and I'll pin the most upvoted comment. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to hear more stories animated and read by AI.